Evening. The hour of 7 p.m. having arrived, I will call to order this regular meeting of the Keene City Council. This meeting is being broadcast live on the City of Keene's YouTube channel and on Spectrum Channel 1302. The video is also streamed on the city's website and is posted by the end of the next business day, barring any technical difficulties. If you would like to receive an electronic City Council packet to reference while viewing future broadcasts, please contact the City Clerk's office during business hours or go to the city's website and subscribe to the city meetings email list. The agenda is also accessible from any mobile device. I'd like to ask if the City Clerk would please call the roll.
Randy L. Filio.
Here.
Michelle H. Alice.
Here.
Catherine I. Workman. Brian J. Lake.
Here.
Jacob R. Favolis.
Here.
Laura E. Tobin.
Here.
Robert C. Williams.
Here.
Philip M. Jones.
Present.
Chris E. Roberts.
Here.
Bettina A.
Here.
Chadbourne. Edward J. Haas.
Here.
Laura E. Ruddle Miller.
Here.
Molly V. Ellis.
Here.
Thomas F. Powers.
Here.
Mitchell H. Greenwald.
Here.
I'd like to ask Councilor Filio to please stand and offer us, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have minutes from our December 18th, 2025 meeting and January 1st of 2026, and I'd like to recognize Councilor Greenwald for a motion to adopt those minutes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to adopt the minutes of the aforementioned meetings as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Powers. Any comments or additions, corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, would all those in favor signify? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We have announcements tonight to celebrate at least one birthday in the room. Councilor Laura Tobin on January 28th. Plant that in your thoughts and send her wishes at that date. Happy birthday, Laura. So some upcoming dates of interest. The City of Keene will be closed on Martin Luther King Jr.'s Memorial Day, Civil Rights Day on Monday, January 19th. That day at 5:30, the Keene Public Library will be hosting a screening of the documentary produced by a Keene State College faculty member, Larry Benequist, Here Am I, Send Me, The Journey of Jonathan Daniels. It will be offered at Heberton Hall in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and the screening will be followed by a question and answer session with the producers and directors, Larry Benequist and Bill Sullivan. On Tuesday, January 27th, that is the Day of International Holocaust Remembrance, which commemorates the liberation from during the Holocaust at Auschwitz, liberation of that camp by the Russian Red Army in 1945. Looking into the month of February, there is the annual Ice and Snow Festival that will be conducted in downtown Keene on Saturday, February 7th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. That event will feature 14 ice carvers this year, up from 12 the previous year, and along with many family-friendly activities. So please come down. And as part of the Human Rights Committee's Black History Month programming in February, there will be a screening on February 17th of the documentary Shadow Falls North at Heberton Hall at 6 p.m. The documentary focuses on the overlooked Black history of New England and efforts to reclaim it. A follow-up discussion will take place on March 5th at 6:30 at the Historical Society of Cheshire County, which has its own project ongoing relative to Black history in the Monadnock region. And I'd like to remind all counselors that the city clerk has emailed an electronic statement of special interest form for your completion per Section 15 of Council Rules of Order. And that submission is due back electronically by January 31st, 2026. Contact the city clerk if you are in need of any assistance in using that electronic submittal form, which the clerk reported earlier today. Most of you have already completed that form. Thank you very much for turning that around quickly. At this point, I'd like to ask Stephen Levy to please join me someplace near here. Oh, how are we doing this tonight?
Up front.
You want your microphone?
A microphone. How about we can grab that one?
Oh, here comes your.
Yes, that's a good, 3/4. If you would.
Much better.
Thank you for the reminder. Well, Stephen, this is an honor. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
For many of us in Keene, walking into Toy City as parents, grandparents, or as a child of a past generation, we recall being greeted by a simple yet profound question. Tell me about your child. I got to thank Ned Kopczynski for some of the illustrations, and yeah, he contributed greatly to this. I hope you know that guy.
I do.
For Steve Levy, owner of Toy City, this is a first step, that question, tell me about your child, a first step in a thoughtful search for the perfect toy. Steve has been a steward of tradition and a champion of child development. For decades, Steve, you've wielded a most potent tool, an unwavering belief in the transformative power of play. This legacy was hard-earned, and it was run by your family. Growing up in Manchester, New Hampshire, Steve watched his father, Maury, grow his business to 9 toy stores under multiple names across New England, right? Not just in New Hampshire.
Vermont, Massachusetts.
Yeah. As a child of a toy store entrepreneur, Steve often became the curator of the misfits. The toys that couldn't sell.
My sister and I, yes.
There was a memorable 3-wheeled wagon.
That's right. How did you know that?
Well, your collaborators.
That's right.
This legacy, we did that one. Steve seemingly inherited his dad's entrepreneurial spirit. You graduated from Babson College in just 3 years with a degree in business. And on May 23rd, 1977, you walked across the graduation stage, and by May 25th, you were running a toy store on Main Street in Keene.
That's true.
And which turned into the final and most enduring of your father's 9 locations.
Yes.
At first, Steve's foray into Keene was a summer gig at Toy City. In that time, though, Keene captured your heart. Drawn to the welcoming community, you made this your permanent home, greatly aided by your love for Susan, a single mom of 3 with whom you would marry and raise a family. In the store, Steve, you've been more than an owner. You've been a character of local legend. When selling the local Keenopoly game, you didn't just ring up the sale, you even dressed the part of Mayor Monopoly.
That's it.
To my chagrin, you then declared yourself a mayor
Just like that.
of Toy City.
None of this politicking, just declare it.
Yeah, yes, I was running for mayor. So your playful spirit even spilled over into your home on Court Street, where a Playmobil soldier could be seen peering out of the second floor window by bypassers.
Much to Sue's chagrin.
In a world obsessed with the newest, fastest, and loudest, Toy City stood as a testament to the timeless joy of a wooden block or a completed puzzle. Inside the store, there were no rushed transactions. There was a conversation, curiosity, and deep-seated generosity. Steve, you were even known to be quietly fulfill a Christmas wish for children even when a family couldn't afford the gift, ensuring that the magic of the season was accessible to all. Steve guided your life and your store by a simple philosophy, according to Med. Toys to be truly satisfying must be rewarding and interactive.
Pretty simple.
Today we honor Steve Levy's lifelong commitment to preserving the art of toys and crafts. You've offered not just items on a shelf, but experiences that enrich childhood, strengthen families, and bridge generations. While we may wish that you, Steve, would take on another store in the community, he's, all right. I'll take that. And while we may yearn for your continued support to the families of the Monadnock region, we recognize that you have more than earned your retirement. Let all who seek joy, growth, and a piece of nostalgia know this truth. Toy City has been more than a store. It has been a living testament to the irreplaceable value of play-based learning. Steve Levy, you stand as an example to what is good, generous, and kind in the city of Keene. Now, therefore, I, as mayor of the city of Keene, do hereby proclaim today, January 15th, that the city of Keene hereby recognizes and honors Steve Levy for his lifelong dedication to toy craft and the invaluable contributions you've made to our community. We celebrate Toy City as a testament to the importance of play and human connections, extending our deepest gratitude to Steve for his generosity as you enter a well-earned retirement. And on behalf of the city of Keene, I would like to present with you this symbolic Keene, key to the city of Keene.
Thank you.
You've earned it.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. Thank you. Oh, please. I just sell toys. Thank you, thank you. I'm overwhelmed. I've always just considered myself a guy who sold toys. It wasn't until the announcement of the retirement that so many people have come up to me to tell me that I am, and the store was, much, much more. I would never, in my wildest of dreams, ever thought that I would be standing in front of the City Council of Keene with the key to the city for selling toys. I could not be any more humble or grateful to my community, and it is my community. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, that, yes, yeah, thank you for, Steve's family, they're probably all going to stand up and exit at the same time, so thank you all for being here.
Thank you, everybody.
Before we open up the public hearings tonight on CDBG grant applications, I just want to describe the process tonight. The Community Development Finance Authority has very specific protocols on how these public hearings are handled. And for some new city councilors, this is your first time to be a part of this. The hearing notice identifies 4 separate components: the actual CDBG, which capital development, community development block grant applications, and the corresponding residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plans are 2 of those pieces on each item. So I'll be opening and closing each of these segments separately. Upon the close of the second hearing, I'll be calling forward, that's what happens when you switch agendas, but I'll be calling forward item K1, K2 in your packets. And that's Resolution R 2026-02. And then, so we'll call that forward, we'll suspend the rules, and we'll act on that resolution. Upon the close of the 4th hearing tonight, I'll call forward item K3, which is Resolution R 2026-03 in your packet, again, K3. And we'll, again, call for a suspension of the rules. This is because these items are very time-sensitive, and our action is needed this evening. So I will now open the public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant application for 657 Marlborough Street. And I'd like to call and forward and recognize Jack Ahern and Carolyn Sweet of Southwest Regional Planning Commission to address the community development application.
Would you like me to read the notice?
Yes, I'm sorry. The clerk will now read the public notice that's been posted previous.
The City of Keene City Council will hold 2 consecutive public hearings on January 15th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at City Hall, 3 Washington Street, Keene, New Hampshire, to hear public comment on a community development block grant, housing grant application proposal for 657 Marlborough Street Rehabilitation Project to the Community Development Finance Authority. Up to $500,000 annually is available on a competitive basis for housing or public facilities, economic development, micro-enterprise, and emergency activities that directly benefit low and moderate income persons. Up to $25,000 is available for feasibility study grants. The proposal to be considered includes 1, a proposed housing grant for $500,000 in CDBG funds. A portion of these funds will be sub-granted to Monadnock Affordable Housing Corporation and will be used for the rehabilitation of 4 units of affordable housing for low and moderate income persons. 2, review and adoption of the City of Keene's residential anti-displacement and relocation plan. Interested persons are invited to attend and comment on the proposed application and plans.
Okay. Mr. Ahern, would you lead us through this?
Thank you very much. My name is Jack Ahern. I'm an associate planner with Southwest Region Planning.
Can you turn on your microphone,
Is
please?
your mic, yeah, thank you.
Ooh, better. My name is Jack Ahern. I'm an associate planner with the Southwest Region Planning Commission. I'll start by giving a brief overview of the Community Development Block Grant Program, and then I'll provide some details on this application. CDBG funds are available to municipalities for economic development, public facility, and housing rehabilitation projects that primarily benefit low and moderate income persons. The City of Keene is eligible to receive up to $500,000 a year for public facilities and housing rehab, up to $500,000 a year for economic development, and up to $750,000 a year for micro-enterprise technical assistance, and up to $500,000 in emergency funds. Feasibility study funds are available for up to $25,000. I've provided handouts describing the New Hampshire Community Development Block Grant Program eligible activities that include the area income limits determined by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The proposed application to the Community Development Finance Authority is for up to $500,000 to support the rehabilitation of a Keene housing property located at 657 Marlborough Street in Keene, New Hampshire. This building is one of 9 properties and 48 total housing units that Keene Housing acquired from the Cheshire Housing Trust upon their dissolution in 2021. The building, which was constructed in 1875, consists of 4 units of permanently affordable housing. As is common with structures of this age, the building is in need of energy efficiency and accessibility upgrades. It is also known that lead-based paint is present throughout the structure and requires some substantial abatement to provide safe and healthy living space for tenants. Currently, only 2 of the 4 units are occupied due to this issue. The proposed project will consist of lead remediation in various areas of the building, and Keene Housing will ensure the proper storage and disposal of any and all hazardous materials from the site. Other improvements aim to modernize the building in terms of energy efficiency and accessibility. These activities will include the installation of new windows and doors, replacement of appliances and lighting fixtures, low-flow plumbing fixtures, and additional insulation. Keene Housing will provide $250,000 of their own funds to serve as match funding for this project. The proposed project aligns with the goals set forth in the City of Keene's Housing and Community Development Plan to have a variety of housing options available that are affordable, accessible, eco-efficient, and supportive of varied lifestyles, and to have housing that uses green building standards that improve energy efficiency and conserve resources. I'm here with Carolyn Sweet, a representative of Keene Housing, who can provide additional details about the project.
Thank you for having us tonight and considering this proposal. I would just like to add to what Jack has said is that it's a 4-unit building. There is 1 one-bedroom apartment. There are 3 two-bedroom apartments. Currently, as Jack mentioned, only 2 of them are habitable. So in this scenario, we are not only maintaining 2 units of affordable housing, but we will be adding 2 more units of affordable housing to the city affordable housing stock. It's permanently affordable as part of Keene Housing, Monadnock Affordable Housing Corp. And as Jack mentioned, it's part of a larger project in which we're remediating the lead out of most of the buildings that we acquired from Cheshire Housing Trust. So I believe we have 7 units currently vacant that are part of another a lead remediation project that's dealing with those, and this project became so expensive that it came out of the scope of that project to become something separate. And so at that time, we'll also be fully rehabbing the building. And I can answer any other questions about the project people have.
Seeing no questions from the council, thank you. Going to ask if there are members of the audience that would care to address themselves to this proposal. Seeing that there is no further public input, I will close this portion of the public hearing for the proposed community development block grant application. Don't go too far. This is your show. I will now open the second public hearing for discussion of the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan, and again ask Mr. Ahern to kick off this and address the plan.
Thank you. If any displacement takes place as a result of the proposed project, the Uniform Relocation Act must be followed, which requires that any displaced household or business in a project using federal funds must be found comparable housing or commercial space in a comparable neighborhood at a comparable price. Under the certification section of the application, the city will certify that the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan is in place, and in the event that it is discovered that this specific project does displace persons or households, a displacement implementation plan must be submitted to CDFA prior to obligating or expending funds. CDFA requirements mandate that the City of Keene certifies that it will require the subrecipient, which is in this case Keene Housing, to comply with the Uniform Relocation Act and Section 104D of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended. Keene Housing anticipates that temporary displacement may occur while construction and abatement activities are underway. A comprehensive displacement implementation plan has been drafted and will be made available to the city upon request and submitted to CDFA upon award of grant funds. Keene Housing is in a position to provide any displaced tenants from the subject property with comparable housing and moving assistance services without issue. And I will allow Carolyn to speak if she'd like to give any details on that, about options available.
Tenants that are housed with Keene Housing have project-based vouchers or vouchers that allow them to pay 30% of their income towards their rents, and our rents are managed at the federal and state level. So we do anticipate the two of the tenants who currently occupy the building will be displaced for up to 3 months. So we are within the guidance of 12-month period, and they will most likely be displaced within the building to a unit that's been rehabbed already, so they'll be in the second phase. And they will have a choice to move to another Keene Housing unit or onto the market should they choose.
Any comments or questions from counselors? Seeing none, I will close this hearing, and this hearing on the anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. I will now ask that we call forward item K1 on our agenda, and this matter is now before you. I'd like to ask the clerk to read the resolution.
Thank you. We have a communication from Jack Ahern, the Associate Planner from Southwest Region Planning Commission. Along with that, we have R 2026-02, a resolution relating to approving a CDBG grant application for the 657 Marlborough Street Rehabilitation Project.
I'd like to recognize Counselor Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to suspend the rules of order to act on the motion.
Can you turn on your microphone, please?
Therefore, I move to suspend the rules to act on the item before us.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Filio. We'll do a roll call on the suspension of the rules.
Counselor Filio.
Yes.
Counselor Chalice.
Yes.
Counselor Lake.
Yes.
Counselor Favelise.
Yes.
Counselor Tobin.
Yes.
Counselor Williams.
Yes.
Counselor Jones.
Yes.
Counselor Roberts.
Yes.
Counselor Chadbourne.
Yes.
Counselor Haas.
Yes.
Counselor Ruddle Miller.
Yes.
Counselor Ellis.
Yes.
Counselor Powers.
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald.
Yes.
The motion carries unanimously. So we are now considering Resolution 2026-02. And that is now before us. And I'd like to recognize Counselor Greenwald for a motion.
Move for the adoption of Resolution R 2026-02.
Second.
Second by Counselor Filio. And that resolution is before you. We've had the pleasure of Mr. Ahern, Ms. Sweet running us through that. There's no further discussion. I'd like to ask, we've got the,
You got the
we have
motion.
a motion and a second. So at this point, we just need a show of hands. All those in favor? That motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We can now open our next public hearing, a CDBG grant for the community kitchen. I'd like to ask the clerk to read the notice of the public hearing.
Notice is hereby given that the City of Keene City Council will hold two consecutive public hearings on January 15th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at City Hall, 3 Washington Street in Keene, to hear public comment on a Community Development Block Grant, Public Facilities Grant application proposal for the Keene Community Kitchen Facility Improvements Project to the Community Development Finance Authority. Up to $500,000 annually is available on a competitive basis for housing public facilities, economic development, micro-enterprise, and emergency activities that directly benefit low and moderate income persons. Up to $25,000 is available for feasibility study grants. This proposal to be considered includes, 1, a proposed public facilities grants for $500,000 in CDBG funds. A portion of funds will be sub-granted to the Community Kitchen, Inc. and will be used for improvements to their facility at 37 Mechanic Street in Keene. And 2, review and adoption of the City of Keene's residential anti-displacement and relocation plan. Interested persons are invited to attend and comment on the proposed application and plans.
In order to address this grant request, I'd again like to recognize Jack Ahern, this time joined by Barbara Weissman, the Executive Director of the Community Kitchen. Turn it over to you, Jack.
Thank you very much. The proposed application to the Community Development Finance Authority is for up to $500,000 to support improvements to the Community Kitchen's facility at 37 Mechanic Street here in Keene. The Community Kitchen operates a soup kitchen and food pantry that together serve approximately 4,000 unduplicated individuals annually and distributed more than 400,000 meal equivalents in 2025 to the residents of Keene and the surrounding area. Their facility on Mechanic Street is a 2-story historic brick structure more than 100 years old. While substantial renovations have been completed, including prior CDBG-funded improvements, continued investment is required to maintain safe and efficient operations. The proposed project includes 2 major upgrades, the installation of a freight lift and the purchase of a standby generator. The freight lift will improve operational efficiency by reducing the labor hours to unload and store delivered goods. The generator will ensure uninterrupted operations during power outages, enabling continued service through emergencies and disaster events. Additionally, the project includes several minor spot improvements, the replacement of 2 rooftop HVAC units, some new flooring, a new rear entryway, some additional cooler space, and some outside pavement improvements. The proposed project aligns with the goal set forth in the City of Keene's Housing and Community Development Plan to make improvements to the Community Kitchen. I'm here with Barb Weissman, Executive Director of the Community Kitchen, who can provide additional details about the project.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council, and members of the community. For the record, my name is Barb Weissman, and I'm here on behalf of the Community Kitchen of Keene. The Community Kitchen has proudly served this community for more than 40 years as Keene's primary emergency food provider. Our pantry and hot meals programs serve seniors, families, working people, and children who simply need food. No referrals, no barriers, and no judgment. Through our mobile pantry program, we have expanded our reach to those who cannot get to us in Keene. We also partner with 100 Nights to provide hot, nutritious meals for people experiencing homelessness. In 2025 alone, the Community Kitchen served nearly 400,000 meal equivalents to 3,571 unique individuals through our pantry and prepared more than 40,000 hot meals. That represents a 10% increase over 2024 service numbers. The need in Keene and throughout our region is growing, and we are working every day to meet it. We do this almost entirely through the generosity of individuals, businesses, municipalities, and the county. We do not receive state or federal operating funds. Our donors give because they want to feed people, and we take that responsibility seriously. That means we rely on targeted funding sources like the Community Development Block Grant to support the infrastructure that makes that service possible. The CDBG request includes 3 critical projects that directly affect Keene's ability to respond to hunger, especially in times of crisis. First, the generator. While we certainly care about protecting the food in our 5 walk-in coolers, what matters far more is our ability to stay open when the community needs us most. The Community Kitchen is listed in Keene's Hazard Mitigation Plan, but without power, we cannot distribute food, prepare meals, or serve as a community resource. In a major storm, prolonged outage, or emergency, hunger does not pause. In fact, it escalates quickly, and those who never needed help before may suddenly find themselves on the receiving end, needing a helping hand, and Keene needs its food safety net operational. This generator allows us to be there when everything else goes dark. Second, the freight lift. Right now, it takes our staff about 8 staff hours of labor to move 1 truckload of food from our back lot to our second floor warehouse using an outdated conveyor belt. A freight lift would reduce that to about 20 minutes. That's not just efficiency, it's safety, it's dignity for our staff, and it's time redirected towards serving the public. In an emergency or during peak demand, that speed and flexibility really matters. Third, the HVAC replacement. Our rooftop units are 17 years old and beyond their expected lifespan. When they fail, our operations stop. Food storage, meal preparation, and volunteer services all depend on those systems. This is not a luxury or an upgrade. It is essential maintenance that keeps Keene's food safety net intact. Together, these investments ensure that the community kitchen can continue to do what this community relies on us to do: feed people, stabilize families, and respond when the need is greatest. On behalf of the thousands of Keene residents who depend on us each year, the volunteers who dedicate their time to service, and the TCK staff who are so deeply committed to this mission, thank you for your consideration and for your partnership in building a stronger and more resilient community.
Thank you, Barb. Any comments, questions from counselors to the proposal? Counselor Jones.
Thank you. Just a process question. I'm looking at both applications, and they have the city manager as the contact. For years, we had Linda Mangones managing these. Is that process been changed? We no longer have a manager for these?
Yeah, so we have Southwest Regional Planning Commission is our grant administrator and prepares the grant applications with the nonprofit organizations, since Linda retired from that role a few years ago.
But it's still the same process then?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I was intending at the conclusion of this to make sure we all recognized Carolyn Sweet, for the significant role that you play in the preparation of these proposals, and thank you for what you do. But back to any on the topic, any questions directly to the proposal? Seeing none, I'll open the floor to people in the audience if they wish to speak at this time. Thank you. Please come forward, use the mic, and introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Delavita, and I'm here representing 2 separate organizations. The first one, I'll read a statement from the Greater Monadnock Collaborative, which is our regional chamber of commerce, and I'm the director of leadership Monadnock. The Greater Monadnock Collaborative strongly supports the Community Kitchen's plan to install a generator system to ensure continuity of services during power outages, events that often affect not only Keene, but surrounding communities across the region. During emergencies and all year round, the Community Kitchen serves as critical infrastructure. If the Community Kitchen has power when others don't, it allows them to continue feeding community members and allows them also to support first responders and volunteers at moments when reliable services are most needed. We also support the request for funding to upgrade additional equipment that will improve efficiency and capacity, strengthening their ability to meet growing demand. Investments like this enhance regional resilience and ensure that our essential services remain available when our community needs them most. My second statement is from the Monadnock United Way, where I'm board chair. The Monadnock United Way is proud to support the Community Kitchen and the Monadnock Food Pantries Collective, a network of local pantries that strive to provide nutritious food to people in all corners of our region. Food pantries are an essential lifeline in every community. Strengthening the Community Kitchen's capacity to meet significantly rising needs will have a positive ripple effect throughout our broader food security network. We respectfully urge approval of this grant so the Community Kitchen can continue serving as a vital anchor in our region's fight against hunger. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Others?
Hi, I'm Mark Bowden, president of Savings Bank of Walpole. I think everybody knows that we're involved in basically every organization in this community, and we're proud to do that. And it's really an unfortunate reality that the Community Kitchen is like one of the most vital organizations that we have. And we've just seen the tip of the iceberg and how much the demand is going to start to increase. And I can tell you, as a Savings Bank of Walpole, towards the end of the year, we recognized the needs, and we invested another $20,000 above what we usually do in the community kitchen, and that's not going to stop. You know, we're invested in terms of human resource, intellectual resource, and we'll continue to support. And I really, at this point, with everything that's coming up, I can think of no organization that's more important for this community to invest in, especially if we can bring in money from other sources, you know, to help small businesses like us, you know, who will continue to contribute. So I encourage everybody to really support this. Thank you.
Thank you for your support. Others in the audience caring to speak to this? Seeing none, I will then close this public hearing and open the public hearing for discussion of the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. And again, recognize Mr. Ahern.
Thank you. As we discussed with the last application, if any displacement takes place as a result of the proposed project, the Uniform Relocation Act must be followed, which requires that any displaced household or business in a project using federal funds must be found comparable housing or commercial space in a comparable neighborhood at a comparable price. The city will certify that the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan is in place, and in the event that it is discovered that this project does displace persons or households, a displacement implementation plan must be submitted to CDFA prior to obligating or expending funds. Because of the nature of this project, it is highly unlikely that any sort of relocation will be necessary. However, CDFA requirements still mandate that the City of Keene certifies it will require the subrecipient to comply with the Uniform Relocation Act and Section 104D of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 as amended.
Thank you very much. Open the floor to any comments or questions about the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan. First, want to recognize any counselors that might wish to address this. Seeing none, recognize people in the audience that might wish to speak to this. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing for the anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan public hearing. Thank you very much for leading us through both of these grants and your support. Appreciate it. I'd now like to call forward item K2 in our agenda. This is a community development block grant approval for the community kitchen, resolution R 2026-03. And I'd like to call on Councilor Greenwald for a motion to suspend the rules.
Thank you, Your Honor. Microphone is on. Move to suspend Section 27 of the Rules of Order to act on Resolution R 2026-03.
Second.
Second by Councilor Filio. And by show of hands, all those in favor, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Almost.
Roll call.
Almost. Move for the adoption of Resolution.
No, we got to do the roll call.
Suspend the rules.
We're just trying to move along. Roll call, please.
Counselor Filio.
Yes.
Counselor Chalice.
Yes.
Counselor Lake.
Yes.
Counselor Favelis.
Yes.
Counselor Tobin.
Yes.
Counselor Williams.
Yes.
Counselor Jones.
Yes.
Counselor Roberts. Counselor Chadbourne.
Yes.
Counselor Haas.
Yes.
Counselor Roddle Miller.
Yes.
Counselor Ellis.
Yes.
Counselor Powers.
Yes.
Counselor Greenwald.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. It's good to recognize Councilor Lake that you now are in the seat of correcting the chair and the other chairs in the room. All right, we now can consider the motion R 2026-03. Call on Councilor Greenwald, or do you wish to present this? Call on Councilor Greenwald for a motion.
Now?
Let's read the
Let's read
title
the-
into the
okay,
record.
sure
Okay.
enough.
All right, that's our typical practice. So we have a communication from Jack Ahern, again, the Associate Planner from Southwest Region Planning Commission, And accompanying that, we have Resolution R 2026-03, a resolution relating to approving a CDBG grant application for the Community Kitchen Facility Improvements Project.
Now, Counselor Greenwald for a motion.
It's okay, Brian? Move for the adoption of Resolution R 2026-03.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Filio. Motion is now on the floor. Are there comments or questions about this resolution? Seeing none, I'd like to ask for a show of hands. All those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. All right, thank you. And thank our applicants. Best wishes. We'll now take up nominations, but before we do, I'd like to call forward item F1 for a resignation that relates to a follow-up nomination. So if the clerk would then read item F1 into the record.
Certainly. We have a communication or a memo from Megan Fortson, city planner, and it is accompanied by a resignation letter from Sarah Vazani, who is resigning from her position on the planning board, which she has been serving in for the last 2 years.
I'd like to recognize Counselor Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to accept the resignation and express gratitude for service.
I recognize Counselor Powers for a second. Counselor Filio seconds. Okay,
Gotta have fun.
all those in favor, we're good on, no question on the, we'll recognize, all those in favor of accepting the resignation? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Now I ask the clerk to read into the record the nominations to boards and commissions.
Certainly, I'd be happy to. Before reading the nominations into the record, I wanted to point out one correction to the memo. The nomination of William White to the Human Rights Committee was included in error and will not go forward for confirmation. With that, I will read the remaining nominations into the record. We have to the Bicycle Pedestrian Path Advisory Committee, Jacob Robertson, who will be serving as a regular member in Slot 6 for a term to expire December 31, 2028. To the Congregate Living and Social Services Licensing Board, Ian Matheson, to serve as a regular member in Slot 5, term to expire December 31, 2028. To the Human Rights Committee, Jennifer Porschitz, who will serve as an alternate in Slot 10 for a term to expire December 31, 2028. To the Planning Board, David Bergeron, serving as a regular member in Slot 1 for a term to expire December 31, 2028. And to the trustees of trust funds and cemetery trustees, we have the reappointment of Michelle Howard as a regular member in Slot 4, as well as the appointment of Heather Scheck as an alternate member in Slot 6, both with terms to expire December 31, 2028.
Thank you. We'll defer on acting on these nominations, lay them on the table until the next regular meeting. We'll now move to communications. Would the clerk please read into the record item C1?
So we have a communication from Vicki Morton, and she has put on record that she is concerned with the city's property tax rate and is requesting the creation of a citizens advisory committee on the budget.
So I just want to say that I'm going to recommend that we file this as informational, but the reason why is that in response to this letter, this became a conversation for the manager to consider. And the city staff will be providing a public presentation to an upcoming Finance Organization and Personnel Committee meeting currently scheduled for February 26th. And that presentation will address some of the questions, or all the questions, that are raised in Ms. Morton's letter. And in particular, the presentation will explain and consider how the city's tax rate is established, how the municipal budget and capital improvement planning process is designed, how the public can participate in that process, and it will include some overview documents that describe our current revenues and expenses that make up the budget. So I expect that. If you recall, last year, the amount of community participation in the budget process was pretty lean. And this pre-step is an attempt to try to alert the community to the fact that we're about to go through capital improvement plan consideration and followed by budget consideration. And this overview will precede those hearings and provide that kind of public introduction and overview before we get into the specifics. Councilor Filio?
I agree with the mayor on this. We do have budget hearings. It's called the Finance Committee. And every year, in the years that I've been on the council, we're lucky if 2 or 3 people show up. If people are really concerned about the budget, show up and speak your piece. Otherwise, be quiet.
But please feel welcome to participate. Councilor Haas.
Yeah, thank you, Your Honor. I want to thank for the response on this and the city manager for responding to this in this fashion to give an overall presentation of the budget and the budget process. Because even though there's plenty of FOP meetings that people can attend to find out the details, it's beyond that is pretty opaque to many people. So I think we'll really be serving a lot of people if we have some kind of presentation along those lines. We do a great job with the CIP. Budget should get the same kind of exposure. So there's a good step in that direction. Thank you.
It does happen, it has happened, but putting it at the front end of the process, I think, is, what the difference here is, and that's good. It ought to provide that initial oversight, insight to the community. So, thank you for that. Okay, we'll file the communication as informational. We have another communication regarding disabled veterans.
Yes, we have a communication from Thomas Burton. Mr. Burton is requesting consideration for an increase to Keene's optional property tax credit for 100% service-connected disabled veterans.
And we'll refer that to the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee. This is appropriate for consideration given the recent action by the legislature to boost those limits. So that's what will be considered by the committee. Okay, moving on to council committee reports.
Yes, our first item is D1, and it is a Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to a 2025 Homeland Security Grant Program Award. And on a vote of 4-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends that the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to accept and expend the 2025 Homeland Security Grant Program Award Tactical Equipment Grant in the amount of $12,714.
Councilor Powers for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Chadbourne. Councilor Powers for the committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Annually, the city, through the police department, applies to the state for these kinds of grants, because without it, it would be very difficult for us to maintain equipment, keep it up to speed and usable because of the expense. So $12,714 will go a long way here in the city. It's going to replace, the intent here is to replace 8 headsets that are used through communications of the officers on scene for these particular. And a lot of it is without wire, which is pretty important. You don't want to be running around wires hanging from yourself or trying to be hooked up. So it's very effective for them. There'll be some minor equipment, small minor equipment and parts that will be purchased along with this and it was unanimous by the FOP to recommend that the city council accept this.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from councilors? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Move on to D2.
And this is a Finance, Organization, and Personnel Committee report relative to reallocation of funds from the West Side Downtown Parking Structure Project to the City Hall Parking Deck Maintenance Program. And on a vote of 4-0, the Finance, Organization, and Personnel Committee recommends that the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to reallocate unspent CIP project funds in the amount of $15,350 from the West Side Downtown Parking Structure Project to the City Hall Parking Deck Maintenance Program.
Thank you. Counselor Powers for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Chadbourne. Counselor Powers for the committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is essentially moving some funds within the parking fund. So these are no new dollars being raised, and these are not tax dollars. These are parking fund fees that go into the fund to sustain the parking structures, parking spaces, et cetera, in the city. A number of years ago, I couldn't even begin to think when we were told we needed a west side parking garage. And it got put in the budget, got taken out of the budget, got discussed a number of times. Several years back, it was decided that the best way to really know for sure is to get an analysis done. So we hired Toyle Hanner to work on the project and study it. And the final analysis was there is not a need at the current time for a west side parking structure. So that project is sort of dormant. These funds are left over in that particular line item in the parking fund budget, and they're necessary to really hit the parking deck out back that needs some serious repairs. So it's most prudent for us to move the $15,350 from the West Side Parking Garage project to the City Hall Parking Deck Repair project. Unanimously recommended by FOP. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from councilors? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented? Motion carries unanimously. Very good. Thank you. Move on to item D3.
And this is a Finance, Organization, and Personnel Committee report relative to engineering services agreement for the FY26 Stormwater Channel Rehabilitation Project. And on a vote of 4-0, the Finance, Organization, and Personnel Committee recommends that the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to execute an agreement with Dubois and King for the design of the Stormwater Channel Rehab Project for an amount not to exceed $96,000.
Counselor Powers for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Chadbourne. Counselor Powers.
Thank you, Your Honor. This project is for some engineering and some development of plans and projects for the stormwater channels repairs, better known as tax ditches. You ask why it's called a tax ditch? I'm told it's in the statute. Seems a different way of identify it, but you will see them around the city, principally off of Route 9 and that area. But there are others by the Tannery Brook and then down by the pump station at the end of Martell Court. There's some area there. Both need to be addressed. They're somewhat overgrown, and in some areas, it just needs to make sure that the levels will probably work properly when you have an overflow of water through. So this will design exactly what needs to be done to take care of those. Those are two projects, but they were combined in this because it was much more cost-effective to have the engineers address this as a single project. There were two firms that expressed an interest through our RFP proposals, and Du Bois and King was selected as the best solution. FOP unanimously recommends that the city go forward with this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I looked at a In the zoning map today, I saw Tannery Brook. It's over by Black Brook, right? It's over there?
City engineer.
He's giving a thumbs up.
Yeah.
In case people didn't know where it was, which I did not. Okay. Seeing no questions or comments, all those in favor of the motion? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And on to the last committee report.
Yes, this is a Finance Organization and Personnel Committee report relative to the Howard Street Sale RFP recommendation. And on a vote of 4-0, the Finance Organization and Personnel Committee recommends that the city manager be authorized to do all things necessary to negotiate and execute an agreement for the sale and residential development of 0 Howard Street, parcel 536-034.
Thank you. Council Powers for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. Move to carry out the intent of the committee report.
Second?
Second by Councilor Chadbourne. Council Powers.
Thank you. This is the first step in a project that's so beneficial to the city. And I want to just remind everybody that what we're going to vote on tonight is the sale of this property. It's a small parcel. It's .91 acres on Howard Street, 8 Howard Street. And it's a combination of small parcels that the city's come to own over time, since back in 1968, one parcel was acquired by the city. And there's a total of 5 parcels. Again, it makes just under an acre. We, from time to time, offer surplus property that we have no need for. And in some cases, it's been a long time, in other cases, it's fairly new. But, you know, one of the things we looked at as being more efficient is to go through all the property we own and see if we're really gonna need them. And in this case, the analysis was made, we're not gonna need it because of the way it was combined to make that 1 acre. And the best use would be to offer it for sale. And when we offered it out for sale, we put some interest items on it for people to consider if they wanted to buy it. And it was to build housing that will benefit people in the city. We're not judging the project, we're not judging the houses, we're judging the sale of the property for a beneficial thing. So we discussed it quite a bit. We had some folks in the audience that discussed it the other night, and we unanimously recommend that the city make this sale for the intent for housing at 8 Howard Street in the city of Keene. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any comments, questions from the council? Seeing none, I just want to thank the city staff for moving forward with this idea. I agree with Councilor Powers' description that this is the city acting for the benefit of our master plan and goals of the city, and it's a good step. Councilor Williams.
I also want to acknowledge Councilor Lake for noticing a few years ago that these parcels were potentially, could be found and assembled and sold to someone who will build. So thank you for the work.
Duly noted. Thank you, Counselor. Okay. Seeing no comments, questions, ready to vote. All those in favor? Good. Motion carries unanimously. Move on to the report from the city manager.
Few items for you this evening. The first is a follow-up on something that we've talked about a few times, and that is creating an online opportunity for people to volunteer. So we now have a volunteer landing page. If you go to the city's website, it's under services, and there's a page called Volunteer Services. And you can sign up, and there's different opportunities: parks beautification, trails beautification, landscaped area maintenance, like our roundabouts or our rights-of-way, youth sports coaching, and there's boxes for other. So if you have something that we didn't think of or that you specifically want to volunteer for, you can do that now through this page on our website. And thank you to Deputy City Manager Rebecca Landry for putting this together. And we actually see this growing. This is just the beginning, and I think this is a wonderful opportunity, and thank you for Councilor Tobin for actually bringing this idea to us as well. So, great job. The next thing I want to talk about tonight is a Brownsfield assessment grant, which is currently being pursued by Monadnock Economic Development Corp., so MEDC. And the application requires a municipal sponsor, and the city will serve in that role. This arrangement is similar to what we just saw tonight, our Community Development Block Grant application model with Southwest Regional Planning Commission, where the regional entity works with a local nonprofit to apply for and administer the grants, and so it's a similar arrangement with MEDC. Under my existing authority, I'm permitted to authorize grant applications, so at this stage, the city's involvement would be limited to strictly sponsorship. If they are awarded the Brownsfield grant, the anticipated administrative burden on city staff is minimal, and it will consist primarily of participation in the process, so in the assessment of parcels and in the selection of parcels. The potential benefit is significant. We have at least 2 parcels in the city that could benefit from these Brownsfield assessment grant funds. And so if we are in fact successful, I will be back to the city council at a future meeting to get authorization to accept the grant and also to further define our role moving forward. Tonight on your desk, you have the upcoming capital improvement planning schedule. Hot off the press, actually, today. And as the mayor mentioned earlier, at the February 26th FOP meeting, the finance director and city assessor will explain the city's tax rate, how it's established, and how the municipal operating budget and the capital planning budget process works, how the two come together. And they will answer questions, and hopefully this will be a good start before we enter the CIP process, because the CIP process begins the following FOP meeting. So on the schedule, which will get added to the city calendar, we will start at Heberton Hall on Monday, March 3rd. This will be a special workshop of the city council. It'll start at 5:30. But the actual presentation doesn't start until 6 o'clock, and that starts typically with a sort of a round robin where departments have large poster boards of the projects, and there's just initial conversation about those projects, and then it'll end with a formal presentation of an overall review of the CIP. And then we begin the page-by-page review of the CIP at FOP, which begins on Monday, March 10th, and that's a special meeting, so it starts early at 5:30. And then the next meeting is March 12th, and that meeting will continue the review of the CIP page by page. And then the city council public hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, March 19th. And then the final adoption of the CIP is April 2nd. And the public is encouraged to attend all of these meetings, ask questions, and provide comments on the proposed capital projects. And this is a really important part of the process. While this is a planning document, it's a financial plan for our large infrastructure projects. It is where the majority of our new dollars are spent. So your operating budget stays relatively the same year after year. You're not adding new services, but you are looking at your projects and how to space them out over 7 years and beyond. So it's an important part of the budget process. I also just wanted to update the council on a winter warming shelter. So city staff, with support from the mayor, have been working closely with our nonprofits, which is SES, 100 Nights, and the UCC Church, to open a winter warming shelter. Last year, 100 Nights utilized their resource room for this purpose. Unfortunately, they were not able to do that this year. And so we began working collaboratively with the groups mentioned. And one of the things that we've talked about is whatever we come up with for a plan this year, making sure that we have something that we can sustain and move forward next year, because this is really late in the in the process to be opening a warming shelter. Unfortunately, we were relying on 100 Nights to use their resource room, and there were a host of reasons why they did not want to do that again this year. And so we had done some early work with the UCC Church last year and created an MOU with them and what a warming shelter might look like. So we did pull that MOU back out. We started from there, and 100 Nights is organizing that. And the city will be participating through the Human Service Division, and we will be providing funds through that MOU to support the wages of the 2 staff members that are required to stay at the warming shelter overnight. We're hoping that the other nonprofits and churches will also contribute, whether it's volunteers or it's food or supplies, that they too will also contribute. And so far, they have stepped up and been willing to help however they can. So right now, this is planning to be open on the January 20th and stay open until the end of March. It would be open 7 days a week, and it would the time would begin at 9 a.m. and the end in the morning is at 7 a.m. So that is currently the plan, and I want to thank our nonprofit partners for working together quickly to come up with this solution, and for everyone who stepped up to make it happen. It definitely did require everybody contributing something and coming forward with a more immediate solution. So we are very grateful for that. And with that, I'm actually going to now turn it over to the city attorney because she has something that she'd like to share with you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to introduce to you our new Deputy City Attorney, Brandon Latham. This is his first week. Brandon comes to us from a New Hampshire law firm that does municipal law, so it's been really helpful to have another municipal mind on some things, even just for the first few days he's been here. He's also got experience working with the City of Concord through an internship there and the Municipal Association, so a lot of great experience that I was really hoping we would get. So happy to have you, Brandon, and thank you all for your support while I've been searching for something for quite a while. Your understanding about the demands on me in my office has been really appreciated, and I'm looking forward to getting us up to speed to help you out. So thanks, everyone.
Congratulations, Amanda, and welcome, Brandon. Nice to have completed that process. Okay, we are moving on to reports by boards and commissions. We have one.
Yes, we have a report submitted by the Community Development Department on behalf of the Energy and Climate Committee. The Energy and Climate Committee is recommending, has recommended that the City Council amend the City Code of Ordinances to include the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy and Resiliency, or CPACER program, as a voluntary funding mechanism for energy-efficient upgrades, building insulation, cost-effective and renewable energy, and water conservation measures for development projects in Keene.
And we will refer that item to the Planning, License, and Development Committee. Moving on to one resolution that we'll take up tonight.
And this is a resolution submitted by the Public Works Department, and it relates to the reallocation of unspent bond funds for the wastewater treatment plant service water system upgrade project, and that is Resolution R 2026-04.
And that is item K3 in your packet. We'll refer that to the Finance, Organization, and Personnel Committee. With that, we're nearing the end of the meeting. I'd like to introduce, I see Abigail Hum present tonight. Abby is taking over the City Hall beat, and want to just wave, and we'll all recognize you and welcome you, and it's nice to see you recurringly here. Appreciate your coverage. I appreciated her coverage about the need for filling some city committees, opening doors and windows to city government. And in fact, it worked. We've gotten 8 different applications in the last week since that article. So I appreciate your coverage, and yeah, this is helping us after filling about 30 slots in December to just be able to not just fill slots, but also have alternates on each of the committees. We're really filling up, and this is great. I'm interviewing each of the applicants beforehand to see what their interests are and how appropriate the appointments are, and yeah, I think this is really helping the city. So, thanks for the coverage. I'd like to now recognize Councilor Greenwald for a motion.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move to go into non-public session to discuss litigation pursuant to RSA 91A3 2E and legal matters pursuant to RSA 91A3 2L.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Filio. This will take a roll call. I'm sorry, just a show of hands.
Roll
It is a
call.
roll call.
Yes. Counselor Filio.
Yes.
Counselor Chalice.
Yes.
Counselor Lake.
Yes.
Counselor Favelis.
Yes.
Counselor Tobin.
Yes.
Counselor Williams.
Yes.
Counselor Jones.
Yes.
Counselor Roberts.
Yes.
Counselor Chadbourne.
Yes.
Counselor Haas.
Yes.
Counselor Ruddle Miller.
Yes.
Counselor Ellis. Yes. Counselor Powers.
Yes?
Counselor Greenwald.
Yes.
Motion carries. We can take a couple-minute break, but we are now adjourned from our regular meeting, move into non-public session.
Terry has it, but that's,
You have it.
yeah, Terry has.